Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining. As you can see, we're talking about our fixed price offerings for initial consulting engagements, or ICE. And really what we're getting at here is how to begin in a way when you don't necessarily know what you're up against. Oftentimes when we talk with folks, we're faced with, or they're faced with, the challenge of knowing where to start, whether that's in terms of making a decision around how to proceed with a content management strategy, or that's around the scope of their project and perhaps fear of a large-scale time and materials consulting engagement. And so what we'll share today is an approach that allows customers to engage, get real value in a measurable way with a fixed price that can help them make some choices about how to begin down a content roadmap. So from an agenda perspective, we'll talk about where we deliver these packages, what they are. We have a case study to share, and a little bit, of course, about who we are and why you should work with Zia, and perhaps appropriate next steps if you found this conversation interesting. So where do we deliver ICE? This is a little bit of a day in the life of Zia in terms of the things we do. And so suffice it to say, it's applicable in all of the ways we work, and this is a good list of the kinds of projects and the kinds of things that we at Zia Consulting are involved in every day. So that this is applicable to enterprise content management solutions, content roadmaps, and working with document capture solutions, and all the pieces that go with. And this could be something as simple as, I'm an existing customer and I need to interact with and now have a solution for electronic or digital signature applications, and stop. That's all you need to do. And this would be a way for that kind of a customer to build a plan based on that, or a full-blown enterprise-wide global deployment of a content management platform with capture and mobile and cloud strategies abound. These will work in those scenarios as I hope to communicate as we go through today. So what are we actually talking about? What is ICE? Aside from perhaps the obvious jokes that we have some fun with here, we're talking about these initial consulting engagements meant to address several levels in the business, and that'll apply, and we'll describe these in a minute, at a departmental level, at a corporate level, or at a full-blown enterprise level. And furthermore, there are three different phases of working with these. So we'll talk about the details, but a discovery process and assessment, something that we will get involved with and do some business analysis and figure out what you're trying to work on, a technical assessment and a detailed analysis with a solution plan, and then ultimately a full-blown roadmap with a project management plan. These are the three phases that we'll share today as well. So the three levels are, how do you differentiate or know which one is for you? We use some of this language just to help kind of compartmentalize things, but as you can see from reading this, there's definitely going to be overlap. You, for example, if you're looking at departmental, see that we've tried to bucket that with something that applies to a single product. So for example, an Alfresco solution or an Ephesoft solution, but not an Alfresco and an Ephesoft solution. Although you may be rolling a departmental solution out, when you start to add in more things, more products, or you're geographically dispersed, things along those lines, additional integration points, etc., that's when you might want to consider looking at the corporate sizing, and that's where we would guide you in conversation. And similarly, you may also have a corporate-wide deployment of Ephesoft for capture, but you're in a single office. You really don't have much in the way of integrations or custom workflow, and it may actually be applicable that you have what we're categorizing or labeling a departmental solution here. Beyond that, and we have to, of course, have an upper boundary to things, there is the opportunity for what we've written as enterprise, where ultimately it's bigger than what we identified as a corporate solution. There's a lot of moving pieces, and it warrants a more traditional kind of a consultative approach for working through this kind of a discovery process. So there's some ideas of how you could get engaged and build some plans and some sizing around those. So to talk about them, the process assessment for this initial discovery, this is something that we'll typically do with a business analyst person, someone who comes in who has a deep understanding of our industry and ECM solutions, obviously both with Alfresco and Ephesoft, who will help understand the high-level goals of the business, will gather business requirements, whether they have been written down and actually thought through at a high degree of detail from the customer, or you just have an idea and that needs to be explored. And from that, review application requirements and architecture requirements to develop the deliverable of confirmation that what you're looking at is a good choice. And sometimes that's true. It's possible that Alfresco or Ephesoft may not be the right answer for what you're after. And we've got a lot of experience in ensuring our customers get underway with successful projects. Sometimes that means saying no or pointing them a different direction. We're certainly not shy about that. From a time frame perspective, this is an activity that, depending on your size, is roughly a 2 to 3 week time frame, start to finish, which includes our prep work, our working with you, and our findings delivery. And you can see there that there's an option for travel. Some of this can actually be done here. You don't have to necessarily incur T&E expenses to have an analyst work with you for a week and build out an understanding and a business plan around a solution. So that is really what this is meant to develop, is the requirements analysis and list of what needs to be technically analyzed. And so that leads us to this next piece, the technical assessment. Following the process analysis, the team is available to do a technical assessment that involves an architect-level individual in addition to the business analyst. And similarly, right, they're taking the output of that requirements gathering exercise and ultimately developing a solution specification and design. So a recommendation plan for how to implement the business requirements and understand what it is that the software needs to do to ensure successful deployment for the business. You can see that includes things along the lines of the deployment topology and architecture, details about the systems integrations, the support for disaster recovery or high availability, and additional technical requirements that have been determined through the course of gathering those business requirements. The time frame is similar in the 2 to 3 week time frame as well, and once again, does not have to be on site, although oftentimes we are for that work. One thing also to understand, and you might be asking yourself, do I have to do, for example, I think I know what I want, I know my requirements, do I have to do a process analysis first to do a technical assessment? And that's a fluid thing. I would say most of the time the answer is actually yes. We do need some opportunity to get in and collaborate with you on business requirements. This is where we would like to have a conversation, understand what you have, and make a recommendation appropriately. Oftentimes you have a clear understanding of business requirements, but not necessarily what that means in working with these kinds of tools, and that's where our process assessment will help. Now, alternatively, you may be an existing customer of Alfresco and have struggled with the deployment, or are looking for a refresh at a technical level or an upgrade. It may make sense at that point to not have the process analysis. So this can be a one-off kind of conversation, and very much depending on your specific circumstances. As an output from these processes, we then need to determine a now what, right? Most organizations aren't going to go down this path and then stop, right? They're ultimately looking to figure out how to implement and how to build these solutions for their business. And this particular task is meant to do just that, to take the output of the business requirements and the technical solution proposal and build a content roadmap for your organization, build a project management plan, something that can be executed in an implementation phase. This is really important maybe to highlight really quickly the way we work here at Zia as well. At the end of the day, we're an agile or iterative software development organization. So what we're really building here is something that can support that activity and implementing in an iterative manner. And we can point you to our website for more resources around our implementation strategies. But this is the entry to ensuring we're able to deliver implementation successfully. The timing of this is typically a week, regardless of size, or in that time frame, start to finish, with delivery of the plan, and truly gives the organization all that they need to make a determination of how they're going to implement the solution. And very often that's with a combination of resources supplied by us as well as our clients. So we actually have a case study. We'll share with you some details here. It's downloadable on the website as well, and it walks through at a high degree of detail what we did. This particular organization is in the electronic design space. They're a manufacturing company. They were seeking to implement ultimately a help desk product, or replace a help desk product with an Alfresco solution. As you can see, it involved three particular technologies that were new to their business to do the work. It involved all of the various components of our initial consulting engagement process, where we did that business process analysis. We understood the business requirements to a high degree of detail, built a solution proposal as a result, and an implementation plan was executed. And from start to finish, including the initial engagements, we were done in about 9 months. This included a lot of interesting things, as you can see. We did an integration there using MuleSoft to an ERP system. JasperSoft is business intelligence as well. So we had a fair bit of moving pieces, interacted with a large number of employees internal in the company, as well as their customers external to the business. And we had a very quick understanding of what it was they were trying to do. Given that they're a high-tech company, they really had a firm understanding of what they needed from a business process perspective, and yet they really appreciated the discovery process that we went through with them to gain understanding in a mutual way, where we thoroughly understood what their challenges were, and we were able to articulate through that how they could develop successfully a solution using these technologies. And as part of that, we in fact validated some of these selections with them, and that was part of our solution proposal, again, which was implemented successfully. So they're a happy customer, and there's the case study. So now on to why Zia. Well, we're one of the leading partners, or the leading partner, with the two organizations with whom we do most of our business, both Alfresco and Ephesoft. You can see we've earned a Partner of the Year award from them in each 2012 and 2013. There's some other accolades that our website suggests as well around implementation and solution awards, rather. Many case studies as well on Zia success stories. We build a lot of things. We'll talk about our verticals here, but we deliver ultimately ROI in automation systems and implementing ECM solutions to enable and facilitate automation. These solutions increase user adoption. One of the things that I didn't mention on a previous slide regarding the roadmap plan was the solution adoption matrix. If I were sitting in a room with everyone, I'd ask them to raise their hands. But think to yourself, how many times have you been in a circumstance where it wasn't obvious to you, whether you're implementing or working with a customer, it wasn't obvious to you exactly how you were going to be sure that your customers actually were going to adopt the solution? Whether you're in IT or you're in the business, you ultimately are concerned about this, that you need to be positive that your customers are going to find value in what you're rolling out. And that's part of what we also deliver in that final plan is a solution adoption matrix that is literally the plan for you, the business, to understand how to roll that out with your customers in a way that you're essentially guaranteeing that they've adopted the solution. And as you can tell, we're here, we're a services organization and a reseller, so we're here to provide the services to get you there, right, through these initial consulting engagements, as well as ultimately working on things along the lines of migration and automation. In our vertical solution space, we've worked on a wide array, including financial services solutions in the mortgage, insurance, and banking spaces. We do a fair bit of work in government in general, state and local, also federal, in fact. So we've got that covered. A fair bit of high tech and telco work and manufacturing, as you can see here. What's interesting in my own personal experience, and at the end of the day, I'm actually a technical guy, is that oftentimes these solutions really are using the same framework of components and the same framework of vocabulary, really. And what's unique about that, when we talk about mortgage, for example, in comparison to telco or technology, right? Those folks aren't, the technology folks don't care about the underwriting process and the closing and post-closing and reporting and regulatory concerns that exist in the mortgage industry, and yet, really, they're using the same basic components of capture and ECM solutions. So where we're differentiating is in our understanding at a deep level of these particular verticals, but also in really all of these kinds of solutions, right? This simple and secure back office concept, these functions across these various departments within a business actually kind of share those same kind of vertical focus that we were showing on the previous slide. So what you're hearing from me is while there's a vertical focus here at Zia, there's a lot of overlap in many, many industries. So, excuse me, if you don't fit exactly into one of those buckets, certainly don't hesitate to give us a call. We will also not be shy to tell you that perhaps we're not a good fit. But largely speaking, there's a lot of overlap here in the kinds of solutions we're building, and that's true in the initial consulting engagements as well.